Ona ona ikahala me kalehua a halalehua no ia no kanoe e kau no ia no ine hoi o ka hiki mai a hiki mai no oi a hiki puno me ke aloha aloha aloha
Welcome, everyone, to Conversations with Love. My name is Lee Culver Richards, and today is September 22nd, 2023. I am here today with the wonderful Reverend Tara Lang from the Spirit of the Lotus Church and Wisdom School. She is committed to bringing forth the universal tenets that there is only one God, one human race, and one life eternal. The goal of the Spirit of the Lotus Church and Schools of Wisdom is to help humanity understand the universal laws and spiritual principles founded in the ancient wisdoms and all major religious lineages. Thus, the Spirit of the Lotus Church and School of Wisdom does not discriminate against or limit itself to sex or race, religion, creed, or any of the labels that we've manufactured. It is a master bridge to link consciousness and teach unity through diversity. It teaches that through the understanding of spiritual principles and respect for all living things, humanity can take right dominion within the earth, sky, and sea. For God is love in all, and all is love. Reverend Lang, thank you so much for saying yes to Conversations with Love. I have a really long and beautiful and amazing bio for you I'd like to read
oh okay
because I think it would help people understand what a wealth and depth of knowledge and wisdom you bring to Conversations with Love today and you bring to your work every day. Reverend Tara Lang is the president, co-founder, and head teacher and head minister at the Spirit of the Lotus. She graduated from University of Southern California, USC, in 1969 with a Bachelor of Music. She had a vision of a great retreat center, and in 1989, the Crystal City of Light came to her, where all peoples of all religious faiths and beliefs could retreat, worship, and gather. She was ordained as a minister in 1984 from the Church of Revelations, and thereafter received her Doctor of Divinity degree and a credential of ministry from the Assemblies of God World Conference, March 24, 1989, and April 20th, 1989, respectively. Her mission is to train teachers, healers, and ministers to share the ancient wisdoms and disseminate the universal spiritual teachings, to help prepare them to serve the one God and humanity compassionately and responsibly. Reverend Lang provides spiritual counseling and aura readings for people throughout North America, India, Asia, and Europe. So, welcome to Conversations with Love. Reverend Lang, Tara, thank you for saying yes.
oh
We have a practice of opening sacred space before we invite people into the audience. So we're going to ask that everyone here kind of settle in, and Tara is going to lead us in opening our sacred space.
everyone relax and just breathe. If you wish, you can, or choose, you can focus on your breath, moving in and out. Now, with your full will and imaging power, go deeply within. Allowing yourself to open to the higher vibrations. We normally take people over the rainbow bridge with color, light, sound, vibration. Today, we will take you over a bridge, the white crystalline bridge of enlightenment, to help bring in source energy in wisdom, truth, power, and grace of God. Therefore, visualize a bright, shimmering, crystalline, golden white ball of light 300 feet above our crown. And allow it to descend, descend, descend in through our crown. Through our throat, throughout our body, throughout the soul, through the soles of our feet, and into the center of our beloved Gaia. Soaking up the love of the Christos in the center of the earth. And bring this ball of light filled with love, overflowing with love, back up, up, up through the soles of the feet, up into the heart, up through the crown, and see its light bursting forth throughout the universe from this shimmering, crystalline, golden ball of light. Now have this ball descend, descend, descend back into our crown and anchoring in our heart. And shooting rays of light from our center, our heart center, out, out, out. In love, wisdom, compassion, truth, God's power. Now there are 4 or 5 gates, vortexes of light that were once closed off. And these vortexes of light connected us to our divine blueprint. And as we invite our angels, archangels, spiritual helpers, spiritual beings of light, our totem, to be with us here at this very moment. The vortexes of light, first ethers, which is above our head. These vortexes of light connect us to the elemental kingdom, to the devas. And those who helped form our physical, emotional, mental bodies to be free of disease, eternal youth and beauty, to get energy, vibration, light directly from God, from source. These vortexes of light are now being energized and reactivated. The ethers above our head, the air at our throat, fire at our sternum, water at the base of our spine, and earth between our feet are spinning faster. And faster. We are now aligned and connected, restored, rejuvenated, reactivated, grounded in the love, the heart of Gaia, blessings of love and light. Now see a crystalline river flowing from infinity, the eternal, eternities, infinite infinities, flowing into the center of our being. And see a twin river flowing from the throne of God, revealing the all possibility which is in every cell of our being. Now these two rivers are one, and they are shining, and we are shining. I am shining brighter than 10,000 times 10,000 suns. For our earth, our beloved Gaia, is becoming a sun, the new sun. And we are shining right along with her. Now bring this energy back, 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 up through the soles of our feet, down through the center of our crown, in through the palms of our hands, whirling at the threefold flame of our heart, breathing new life, new energy into every cell of our being. And when we're all the way into the body, rub the palms of our hands together and cup them gently over the eyes. We may do this now. Blessings. That was to help ground us and ooh, woohoo.
Just lovely. So I'm going to just say, everyone, I hope you are feeling yourself, because as you become more of you, what great, wonderful design you will make clear for all life on this planet. So Tara, I'm not going to put my glasses back on, so I can't read without them. That's okay. I'm going to leave them off because that's kind of part of our improv today. We're playing. Oh, you're putting yours back on. All right then. I can see through the eyes of love, and it's getting
Yes.
clearer and clearer.
Woohoo.
Just letting the cells settle and everything balanced, right? So one of my questions was to ask you how you came to this work. What brought you to a spiritual life?
Oh, wow. There were so many incidences that brought me to this point. Some choices that I thought were really bad, and some I thought were excellent choices. And but what happened was when my husband at the time was very ill, and so I started seeking alternative healing methods, and uh, I joined a group that really changed my life. But at the same time, this group, I mean, the leader of the group was very powerful, is probably still is. And I'm not mentioning names because there was some abuse in the group, and I chose not to see it until I was so-called the victim, though I didn't play want to play the victim. So there was a lot of confusion, but I learned a lot. It helped open my heart to compassion and understanding and questioning what's good, what's bad, what's evil, and all of that. And it uh, it made me, there was this duality going on. Things started to surface, made me question God. And I was angry at God. And I did not want to continue with the work I was doing. At that time, I was doing readings and uh, channeling, healing, and all of that. But I realized there was something that within me that said, you can't let, one person stop you. I mean, you have a mission, and this was all your choice. You made the choices. You wrote the script. And this was to help strengthen you. So my experience is to help people. Sometimes the path to where you are right now isn't just by making choices that, that you think are good, or, that it will help people, it will help the universe, it will help humanity. Um, you may think it at that time, but uh, God works in mysterious ways. That's all I can say. I know I'm trying to avoid mentioning names and things, but the path can lead you, your choices can lead you to anger, have the anger come up or get you mad at God. And I always go back to where I read about the life of Saint John of the Cross, and he came to that dark night of the soul where he said, I don't see you, God. And he was so mad at God. I can't hear you anymore. I can't see you anymore. I can't see the light. And he was down in the dumps, and he felt lower than low. And then he heard God said, you can't hear me. You can't see the light because you are the light. You are God. You are all that. When you're that, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it. It's not separate from you. When it's separate from you, that's when you can see it. When it's separate from you, that's when you can, hear it and all that. When you're that, you're that. So I keep clinging to at that time I kept clinging to that. I said, yeah, I finally understood.
Let me see if I'm hearing with right ears. Ears that are purified into their self-loving mode. Because what I heard you say is that you came to recognize yourself as the embodied self of divinity that is our truth, because our bodies are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And that oneness you're speaking of, that no more separation, you came to by making choices that actually weren't so good for you at the time.
Mhm.
Is that what I'm
That
hearing you say?
anger brought up anger, that brought up a lot of negative emotions, I should say. Yes.
Okay, so let's kind of, I'd like to kind of go there, Tara, because in one of the teachings I saw on the Spirit of the Lotus Wisdom School website, actually, is it okay if I go there and share the
Sure.
website? Okay, so I'm going to go there. So this is your the Church and School of Wisdom that you founded, and on this page, it talked about, you will realize that you're not reading to learn anything. You already have the knowledge of what is written. We are children of God with no beginning and no end. None of us came here to learn anything. We came here to remember who we are. When we remember, it keeps us in our power. When we remember, we can take dominion. And this is the spiritoflotus.com. If we are these physical bodies that hold memory, wouldn't those negative emotions actually have to come up and out to become cleansed into the purity of the truth of what we are, because humanity's history is not very pretty.
Right. Um, I was listening to, forgive me, Patricia Diane Cota Robles, is that her
Yes,
name?
yes.
And wow, wonderful channel. And she was speaking about how we first came to be, that these negative emotions, that these frail physical bodies that are susceptible to disease, and these negative thoughts, and the dross that fills our thinking mind, and all of that is not part of God's plan, was never part of God's plan. It's all created by human beings, by us. We created it. We're co-creators of God. We are, we are God. And so for it, this is how we see it, that if we had everything come up, it would bury us because we have no beginning, no end. And seek and ye shall find. If we keep seeking, knock and it shall be opened unto you. If we keep seeking that which is, the anger, that which drags us down, that which shackles us, well, it's endless, because we are everything. We experience everything in life, that we've created, that life has to offer. And so the important thing is to get to what created all of this, the dominant uh, issue. If it was abandonment that created the anger, that created the fear of loss, the fear of separation, fear of all these fears, to get to the one thing. And so as we don't even have to try, as we are ascending in consciousness, because things are being shaken up right now for us, as we're starting to vibrate faster, that one thing is coming up, and it is being taken care of. We just have to trust. We have to, that trust, and then of course allow it to. It's not us. Just talk to it. It's an entity, to allow it to be released. And like the domino effect, it will start taking things that are connected to it out, like the domino. Now, so a lot of us take these self-improvement classes and things like that. But at the same time, in this world of duality, in this third dimension, yes, seek and you shall find. The more we try and improve ourselves, think we need improvement, the more things we will find. That's a perfectionist. The more things we will find that are imperfect, this world of duality. The thing is to trust, to allow ourselves, to allow our guides, to allow nature, to allow I am to take care of that. It's all being taken care of. And focus on our goal. Focus on that which honors us. Focus on the things that, brings us joy, and health. And that is why this is a time of self-care, because this is just what's coming right now. We've spent so much time criticizing ourselves. We spent so much time beating ourselves over the head with guilt and shame and all this, and then more will come up. Now it's to refocus as the new energies come in, and to keep our attitude and altitude high. And it's just like uh, the eagle's nest or the crow's nest, or with that uh, just not that you're separated, but you are the witness to what is happening, witness without judging, but having that compassion and realizing it's all taken care of. Just being you, just your breath, just you breathing. And breath has been changed, has been what do you call it, raised, I can't think of the word. Everything about us, the vibration is higher and higher. So even our breath, the breathing pattern, all of that has changed. And we are no longer the same person as we were during, the first big shift in 2012, uh, when a lot of people thought the world was coming to an end. And they said, oh, that they were so disappointed, or they said, hey, the world didn't come to an end, but it did. There was a humongous shift in consciousness. The world as we knew it was coming to an end. And then so to keep a higher perspective, and when we are more the witness, then we can uh, uh, view life without judging. There'll be, so okay, this is part of my creation, this is my play.
That is just, uh, oh, I could just, I mean, I'm just listening to you and I feel like a kindergartner first day of school. It's like, oh, this is exciting. Like this, the way you described kind of stepping out of the dross is what you
Yeah.
described to me. It's like you described just stepping out of the dross and trusting that it's all going to be taken care of and restored to a truer manifestation.
Uh-huh. It's all part of the divine plan. And we are the divine plan. So whatever we're uh but I mean, just being who we are. And oh yes, one thing I realized about oneness, because this is the time of oneness and unity, and that's what COVID brought about, was a lot of this oneness and unity. And because people had to stop, we all stopped in our tracks. And but it brought a lot of fear to people. The fear wasn't so much the fear of dying to loss, but the fear of the annihilation of the ego. Because they think, oh, once we're all united as one and thinking more as a community, we'll lose our, and this collective consciousness, as Lori Rayon says, pod consciousness, dolphin consciousness, whale consciousness, where we think as a collective. What people fear is the annihilation of the ego. That the ego, without, the ego, we will lose our individuality. Now, oneness, there's a certain vibration that we're already in oneness, that holds us in oneness, because we are multi-dimensional beings living many lives in many dimensions and many universes and so on and so forth. But this vibration that holds us in unity also holds our consciousness to live, okay, this is Tara, and to have this individuality in this whole oneness. There is only one consciousness. There is only one God. There is only one truth. There is only one love. There is only one. And so, in this oneness, in this unity, we still have our individuality, and we are still can be everywhere God, in multidimensional everything. And it's all because of vibration and energy. That's why everything's energy and vibration. And there is only one energy, only one, but aspects of it. And that's, it takes a lot of, the mind can't understand it to its full capacity, but it's important, just like healing, that the mind grasps at least a portion of it and then trust that the rest falls in place.
Because, okay, so the ego mind is one that operates in separation. Its
Yes.
operating system is defined by its separateness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always seeking to try to figure out how to get itself back into oneness. But it can't do it because it's not something that you can go, okay, well, here's A, and then after A comes B. It's like there is no linear way of doing it, because it's
Yes.
too much all at once, if you will. But what we were talking about, like moving from the dross mind and unifying the whole self,
Uh-huh.
the spiritual body, the mental body, the physical body, the emotional body, the historical body, the chemical body, the cosmic body, all the bodies,
Uh-huh.
to recognize itself as the whole one energy. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much that that's the oneness, and the whole one is everything, is all and beyond whatever our mind can think. That's the source energy. That's our connection to the source energy. I can't put it
clear.
into
No,
words.
you are just remarkably explaining this shift in consciousness to elevate our thinking, being, and doing into that unity consciousness, which has always been here,
Yes.
but we've been fighting it.
Oh, that's the struggle. People feel stress. People feel conflicted. People are feeling, what is the word? Oh, words are escaping me, because it's the mind and the heart are not together yet. The mind understands that we have to be in the heart to get it, to be able to heal, to be able to expand, to be able to connect, to be able to move on. And the mind, the conflict, the struggle to let go, to trust, again, trust, um, is creating this lack of vitality, this lack of energy, this this um
Disease,
restrictive
imbalance,
imbalance. Yeah,
war, all of it. It's
yeah.
all connected to the
There's
disconnect.
that's the real war going on between the mind. You can call it a, I don't know if it's a war, but it's just more of a struggle. The lower realities, surrendering, allowing, going, to the heart, because as above, so below. So, but the mind knows all of this. The mind knows quite a bit. The
Okay, so
mind directs the brain. The mind is not the brain. The mind is what directs the brain. And
so the mind is not in fact separated. It's our individual brain that's been conditioned to believe whatever it's been conditioned to believe, and continues this lower vibrational, basically continuation of this separation, or a manifestation of human life that is not imbalanced with the truth of creation.
right.
So when you were in the meditation, and I'm going to ask you to go really back into your hearing, because there's something I have to ask you musically that I don't comprehend. So in music, there's something called a bridge, right? What's the bridge in music? And then I'll tell you where I'm going with this.
Okay. Now, it's like any, there's a physical bridge on the violin. There's a bridge. I mean, there's physical bridges on instruments. And then a bridge takes you from, when you modulate from one key to another, you have you bridge from one key to another. But I mean, there's bridge is a bridge, it's moving from one area of consciousness to another area of consciousness. Everything is, even in music, is, wow, tells, well, I won't go into that, but everything is bridging, step down, transforming energy. It's like, the game Gossip, coming from God, from source, but it stepped down, transforms, and by the time, the angels, and I'm trying to put it so simplistically, I hope it's makes sense. By the time it gets to our thinking mind, who says, "Oh, I get it," but it may be totally different than from its pure form. But is that bad? It's part of the experience. It's part of it. There's neither bad nor good, you know?
It's the
And
play.
just because we don't get it as the original, it still takes us, whatever we get, to the point where we are now. And humanity is, wow. I, it, whether we know it or not, and this is for everybody, we've been upgraded. And we talk about um, uh, upgrading from carbon based to crystalline base, and that the new children coming in, new age, new earth children, they're already crystalline based. And so what does this mean? When we were carbon based, and this is all bridging, we were, this is when started with the great fall of humanity, where a lot of our powers, let's say, were taken away by our own doing. And in the opening meditation, we had the elemental kingdom were responsible in creating our bodies, but Source made sure there was a way to connect, always be connected. And it was through these vortexes, the either earth, fire, air, and then water at the base of the spine, and then earth between our feet. And these vortexes is what kept us young, kept us healthy, kept us smart, and that we could get all the information, the wisdom, and so on and so forth. But because we chose to get denser and denser, more into the sensual and so on and so forth, that we were easy prey, the ego, so on and so forth. So these vortexes were shut down. And we lost direct communication with our angels. We used to be able to speak. This is part of the remembering. Okay. And I have to thank Patricia, her long name.
Patricia Cotto Robles. Yes.
Yes.
You know, the first time I met her, it was a program she did with Dee Wallace called The Urgency of Self-Love.
Oh, yes. Wow.
And it just like catapulted my whole thinking body, my mental body, into a different vibration. Like you said, like following that bridge that carries you from a melody. Maybe it's a story, right? A melody could be like a story we're telling, right? And it could be beautiful, and it might not be accurate for where our genius wants to take us.
Right.
So the bridges do that. Like, and if it shifts the key, major to minor, whatever it is, like you say, you just go with the flow of the play.
Modulates there.
Okay. Yeah. Now I really understand it, Tara. Thank you.
And then so now so that made us carbon based when things were all shut down, and the gross body, we started thinking we are the body, we are the emotions, we are the mind, and we started thinking we're this, we're that, which limited our powers. Because we can only reach so far, that we can only we have that much power. We don't have much power. And but now that we're transcending all that, and the angels and the company of angels and in heaven and are helping us doing all this helping us transmute, figure that these vortexes are opening up again. And that's why we are this eternal youth and beauty. We're connecting to the original blueprint of that Brahmachandra talks about, the 33 years old. I must say, I look pretty good at 33.
That you do. You look great. You look great, and I'm so grateful.
But anyway, they're opening up.
Yeah.
And so our powers are returning. This is fifth dimensional, and our gifts and powers and things are we're remembering, starting to remember. Yes. And it's exciting.
It is exciting because, like, even just hearing you, okay, so we talk about carbon. Carbon chemistry was the only chemistry I was able to do at college level. I really wanted to be a doctor when I was little, but like you said, life takes you in many directions, and when you're approaching it from anger and ranting and raving against everything that's wrong, it's like your ego mind is not going to take you anywhere.
Uh-huh.
You've got to be inhabiting the fullness of your genius mind in balance, because it is a balance. Like when you were talking in the meditation about this river of two parts, it was like, okay, well, like I imagine, male and female made he them, right?
And
it's
becoming
like
one.
This river of two parts, but it becomes
Right.
one merge. But each part has its own qualities and its own properties, and each one is respected equally in that transmogrification of unity, of coming together. So each is still its individual properties and qualities, while at the same time merging in this oneness play. And there's stepping stones, and there's things that are made, and so we see it. And I'm like, okay, so carbon chemistry was this first chemistry class I took. So carbon chemistry is like the basis of all physical manifestation on the planet. At least that was what was believed by our science of the time. And like science is like the most fluid of our approaches to playing with the mystery, right? Science is one of them. Art is another way. That's how we play with the mystery, to remember. And so, like, if you think about quote unquote fossil fuel, so that's a pure carbon-based relic of an ancient time of the planet's evolution, progress, change, whatever, right? Just dynamically being alive. And so if we are coming to recognize a greater truth, a higher truth, a more inclusive wholeness, then we won't need fossil fuels, because our energy sources will become pure.
Yes.
And so there is a scientist in India that I've read just a little bit about, who's saying that the human body can actually power what some of our electrical plants are powering. Like one human body has the capacity to generate that much energy.
That's exciting.
Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
And then the freshness of learning as a child in this time, like that's where I know my focus is like, where and how can we old folks contribute to this, because we're not going to be in their future physically. Or perhaps we might, I don't know.
Yeah.
right? I don't know for sure, but in the future creation of one who is coming to this planet with more openness to the wholeness of one God, one love, one earth, one source.
Wow. Yes.
How do you see the spirit of Lotus working with children, perhaps? Let's, and we've got like 2 minutes left in the show. If you could
Oh my
believe we've been
gosh.
talking for an hour. I don't know how it happened.
Yes. Well, one of our ministers is a teacher, and and I consider myself a teacher too, and as well as a student, and but children, allowing them to play, learn from playing, allowing them from, learning from expressing, from having a good time and joy. Right now,
Yeah.
you know, right now we forgot how to play. And in school, kids have to sit for a long period of time and, focus, and the joy of discovery is taken out. But I think it's coming back. The newer generation of teachers are starting to introduce more of um, uh, this joy of learning, playing, and discovery, having the
Yes.
child discover.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And it's exciting. It's exciting. And just assuming they're already geniuses.
Of course. Yes. For real. There's one more thing I wanted to bring to you in case you hadn't heard of it. Have you heard of the University of Science and Philosophy in Virginia, founded
No,
by Walter and Lau Russell?
no.
Okay, I'm going to send this to you because I have a feeling in our future there's like a gathering that we're going to have where you're going to bring your wisdom school and all these great minds, because he talks about thinking and knowing. And we teach children to remember and repeat instead of to think and to know, which is play.
Uh-huh.
And he talks about that every one of us has this genius inherent,
Yes.
right? It's
It's
that
in the
it's
center of every cell of our body. And we have trillions of cells.
wow, that's powerful.
And each cell has trillions of atoms and subatomic particles and so on. And so, we can go on and on. Whew.
Wow, that is exciting. So I'm looking forward to staying connected with you, Tara Lang. Thank you so much for coming on Conversations with Love and sharing these wisdom teachings to incite a remembrance, to inspire a spark of, oh, well, what if I already am a genius? And
Yeah.
how do I play? What makes me absolutely explode with joy in this world? And it can be as simple as watching a sunset.
Oh, yes. and and just by that experience and that feeling, it touches everything in the universe. Yes.
Delicious and delightful. Well, I don't know if you'd like to close the sacred space with a little prayer or a song, perhaps. Unfortunately, you didn't get to hear the opening sequence, but Reverend Tara Lang recorded the opening sequence. It's a Hawaiian chant of aloha. So I don't know if you'd like to close our sacred space with a little chant if you feel up to it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can sing that, chant that, what didn't appear in the beginning, but I wanted to quickly say, maybe there's no time, but aloha is an acronym. And the Hawaiian all language, uh, is vibration, is symbolizes a vibration. And that's why it's a 5-pointed star, aloha. And aloha, I'll go into it at another time with you, but it's earth, water, fire, air, and ethers, is mastery over, giving God giving us dominion over the earth, star, and sky and sea and all that's in it. And that's why we're a 5-pointed star. And we're, when we stand out like this. And that's why the American flag has all these stars. And, I mean, and there's other, but it's language, sound, vibration, and it's language is so powerful, and our intent and everything and so on and so forth. But that's a whole different thing. But anyway, and you're a doctor of joy and communication and love, doctor of love.
I accept. I accept that definition to be all energy who loves itself. Yes, yes, yes. And the expression of it. So, would you please just close this beautiful gathering today with whatever prayer you feel called to kind of just bring us back into our own spheres.
Okay.
And everyone, please be gentle with yourself in the
Oh,
grace of this beautiful time. Please be gentle with yourself because this is a time of great rejoicing.
okay. Ooh. Holy, 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 Mother, Father, God, Almighty, we call upon thy Holy Spirit to come, 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 descend, 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 and manifest, manifest, manifest in, through, and about us, creating within each and every one a clear and perfect channel in the Christ. Oh, aloha. Aloha, aloha, kapoe. Amen and amen. Om Hatsu. Blessings.
Thank you. Until we meet again.
Yes. I love you. I
I
love
love
you.
you.
Bye.